Yes. Hi, Dee.
Hi.
Wagon.
Wagon. Wagon.
No.
Wagwan.
Wagwan. That's how you say it.
Yeah. Wagwan.
Welcome to the Two Eastern Europeans Talk Mental Health podcast.
This is gonna go well.
Yeah, I have
high expectations.
No expectations.
Hopes.
I know you. I have,
Hopes.
I dare to dream. Well, but yeah, this podcast came about because you went, when you getting me on? And I was
that
like,
makes me sound slightly desperate. No, okay, so in my defense, I thought I could contribute to this space of mental health / internationals in Glasgow scene.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's called Silas Talks to Everyone, and that means interesting people, and you're definitely an interesting person.
That is supposed to be a compliment?
Well, we're about to find out how interesting she really is. It's about to get real, yo.
No.
But but the thing we wanted to talk about was about mental health specifically because you work in mental health related adjacent job. And obviously there's a lot of things that go into that. You can't go into too many details.
Yep.
There's rules and regulations about this sort of thing, which we will keep in mind.
Don't get me cancelled. I just broke the fourth wall. Don't get me cancelled. Yeah, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not intending to.
Yeah. I mean...
But yeah, what were we talking about? We started with bonding over the fact that we were both sort of brought up in cults. In a hardcore what do you call them? These fucking Christian fundamentalists.
Ish. Yeah.
It's a Christian fundamentalist. You don't have to call it a cult. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't call it a cult growing up. We used to call it a faith. So when they don't call it, it's not a religion. It's a thing.
I think with the whole religion thing, people used to think. Somebody said that to me, like religion is kind of a way to control people. Why faith? It's supposed to be a personal level with higher forces or whatever you want to call it. So in religion, like Catholics in general, right? So Catholics would go to church like over Easter, Christmas, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the things you and me grew up, it used to be like every Sunday or once or twice.
It was
a
a
week.
full-time thing. Yeah. Like looking back, you go, God damn, I've spent a lot of time living my best life. Just going and talking about Jesus to people that didn't want to talk about Jesus, famously shut indoors. No, I mean, there's a reason Jehovah's Witnesses have a reputation.
Yeah. No, we didn't do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that, I don't necessarily
But we turned out okay. Right?
Yeah. Functional.
Yeah. We
Functional.
only do therapy once a week now. Or once every couple of weeks. Life is good.
Or self-therapy. Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. My diary or my journal has so many images of, the classic horror film where the kids drawing the family murdered,
Saying that, I remember being in this a conference thing. And you know how you would have a priest or whoever talking at the front of a stage and they would have some kind of talk, right? And at some point they'd be like, if any of you feel a calling, do come to the front and we're gonna pray for you. So many times, being a 13, 14 kid, I would sit there and I would feel like a pull. Have you never had that?
No, we don't do that. So, witnesses, we didn't have the talking in tongues and things like that.
It's not just the tongues, but you would have somebody.
Did you have the tongues?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. No, we didn't have that. So we didn't normally have audience participation necessarily. Thank fuck.
So how does that work?
We just had very old people talk for ages, and you're like, and then every now and again there's a song. And then every now and again there was one speaker who was actually good at public speaking, and you're like, oh fucking hey, here we go. You get the budding stand-up comedian in the.
Okay, I feel like my thing was cooler because it would actually
he was praise.
No, it wasn't that particular thing, but
in the name of Jesus.
No, but they would give some kind of talk of something like a Bible verse or whatever, and I think it's human mind to try and find a relation or somehow try to find a way to understand and kind of relate yourself to information that is given.
Yeah.
And then at the end of all these things, they'd be like, and any of those who feel like they have been touched by this talk and wants to come forward for us to pray for you, please come forward now. And I'm a very psychological kind of human behavior kind of person, but like there's times where I would be like, I want to come to the front, but also you're a teenager and like, but I don't want to come to the front because then everybody's gonna stare at me and then it gets weird. But it used to be like, I used to get this like, feel this like pull as in like, wanting to come forward.
Now the religious person would be like, oh my God, the Holy Spirit's working through you.
But it's not necessarily that. I think it's the same as like when you go to a concert. Like I'm kind of like an energy person. So if you go to the concert, right, and the whole vibe is bunch of people gathered in, they all are on the same wavelength, right? They come in, they feel the music, it's kind of like high energy, high kind of thing, and you feel like you want to participate, you got this euphoric feeling, and then you come forward. I don't know if that, again, not an expert.
So are you like a white girl drunken Jesus right now? You're like, woo! Like you're like someone's picking you up on the shoulders. You're like, yes.
I generally think if you gather, if you
now there's a psychology of crowds.
There is 100%. Like, why do you think people go to concerts? Because you go in and you have this atmosphere, a bunch of people who enjoy the same kind of thing that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Right? And especially at the young age when you're a teenager, when you're extremely willing
sensitive
to find
being accepted,
but you're extremely willing to find your crowd and find something that like speaks to you because you're confused, like there's no tomorrow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because as a teenager, you look for ways to like fit in and explain yourself and all that. So I think in any kind of, it doesn't necessarily have to be religious. Like so many people say that the music that you listen to when you were a teenager is the music that impacts you the most, even when you grow older and listen to new music.
I mean, there's points to that, I think. Like, there's a reason people get nostalgic about what they used to listen to. And
yeah.
But then there's also, like, phases. Like, there's music that you go, oh, I used to be an emo kid, but I grew out of it or something like that. Yeah, deep down. I know. Fucking Linkin Park, let's go.
No, Linkin Park. Like, I'm talking... Foul Boy.
Tokyo Hotel.
No, that one was too depressing to me. Like I used to, like I've got this weird thing when I get too empathetic and I feel music and like vibes too much. So Tokyo Hotel always make me very depressed.
We used to make fun of the girls for liking Tokyo Hotel.
One of my best friends, I'm gonna tell you the story. So one of my best friends, when I must have been like 13, 14, she made me this like friendship necklace that was, those old shaving blades.
Yeah.
That is basically just a blade and you got like this like rigid edge. She painted it with black nail polish and she made a choker out of it that I then wore it over my throat as a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And then my dad saw me with it and a choker is tight. So there was a chain, an actual blades painted with nail polish and I would wear it over my throat. Can you calculate the risk assessment?
I mean, I was gonna say,
So...
she turned out okay.
Now I look back and I'm like, I literally walked around with something that could cut my throat and like one split, I fall, I make the wrong kind of turn, like that the thing was like, you remember? Like,
and I just imagine you had like cut my life into pieces.
Not a Linkin Park thing, but it just used to be a thing.
I'm pretty sure it's Papa Roach.
That is actually Papa Roach. It's Papa Roach. Yeah. But no. So it used to be very emo. Saying that.
Hey, listen. We were all depressed high school. Well, not all of us. Some of us got laid, but not me. Clearly. No, man. You gotta make peace with who you were as a person. Because I had to learn that you didn't pick who you are. You didn't pick what you saw in life. Just at some point you go, oh fuck, I need to figure out this shit.
I mean, teenage years.
Yeah, like looking back now, I've done a lot of things, but like looking back now, like, oh my god, that poor little kid, he had no idea, he was like struggling with all these big emotions, and who am I gonna be, and where are my friends, and why don't people like me, and do they like me, and one day they'll like me, and yada, and all that shit, looking back, and now I'm like, oh, okay, I mean, that's the information you had. And also there's a lot of like teenage psychology that kids do. Like mad days, like I remember. So like I've had like some traumas growing up, and then I would, like me and my boy, my best friend, we would like fucking psychoanalyze each other and try to explain. Yeah, no, we did. I mean, this was like late high school. We start being like Like,
more self-aware, kind of, where do I fit in?
yeah, you know, we're not like the other kids, you know, we know what he's talking about, you know, like we're fucking, you know, we're like we're deeper thinkers, bro.
It's like that everybody thought that
I
of
know!
themselves when they were in high school.
Everyone's like, you know, we're all deep thinkers, you know. This is which is why everybody on Bumble now is like, you know, I'm turned on by is it deep thoughts or fucking deep something? I bet it's deep. I'm sorry, that was unnecessary.
Right.
But fuck Bumble.
Somebody's salty.
I'm salty about Bumble, man. You know what? This is fucking. So first of all, we have time for this.
Oh yeah.
This is about to be mental health. This is affecting my mental health right now, partially. But first of all, so the whole idea is that the lady makes the move. When you match, they message you, and then, you know.
Is it like a distance related?
No. There's some creepy apps that track where you go, and then they like whoever you fucking meet.
Oh, that's a happen. Is it happen?
No, I mean I fucking had to delete that because it's fucking. Why do you know where I'm at, and why do other people need to know where I was walking yesterday? And no, fuck off.
No, okay, no, we don't like that.
Respectfully, you know, you built a platform and all that. Well done, you, hard work, but that's a weird fucking feature, bro. Anyway, back to Bumble. So first of all, is the ladies make the first move, but then they realized that it wasn't happening or something. They started giving people the compliments. We can compliment someone that you haven't matched with yet, and they can, like, basically you can message someone that you haven't interacted with yet, and then if they like the message, they can message you back. So you can basically match without matching, right? But then they realized that this is working. Let's start charging money for this, because it used to be free. You get one for free, but now they're starting like charging you like 10 quid or something for like, was it 5? I think. Yes, I've used it a couple of times. I'm trying to get some. Okay. But long story short, so now they're charging you money, but then now they realize that, okay, we can still make this more complicated. So now that when you compliment someone, there is a generic question that they can put, like a prompt that you can answer.
Right.
So now you compliment them, and then I don't know what happens when you can. I've never been complimented.
Oh, Papa. Right.
But when they get the compliment, they can. I think you accept the compliment or something like that. But then the generic question that they've chosen from like a list of questions pops up. So now you have to answer that fucking question. Then they figure out if they like the answer to the question that you've given, and then you match. And that's when you just start talking. So I paid money to do a fucking test to figure out, like, fuck off.
It sounds like a work interview.
It's bullshit.
Like a 5-stage work interview, when you, like, if you pass the first stage and you take into the second stage, if you pass the second stage, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just trying to have fucking conversation to people. Why do you have to fucking, like, we haven't even talked, I'm already spending money. Bruv. And then, if this is mental health, it's supposed to be mental health, but since I'm on a fucking dating rant,
right.
I had this chat with someone. Why is it that the first date is the one that you're supposed to make the most fucking financial investment as a dude?
I disagree with that utterly.
But why is it though? Why is that acceptable then? My guy, if I like you, I'll treat you. But like, we don't know each other, I'm already trying to fucking splash out.
I think that we live in the weird times. Like, okay, in my personal experience, the way I date, I used to date. So when I go on a date,
Jesus now.
I'm not married to Jesus, but I'm in relationship. So when I used to date, my general thing is I do 50-50, especially on a first date. Like it's I don't know if it's an East European thing, but I'm in general very weird about money.
God bless you. God bless you.
But like, I'm in general very weird about money when it comes to dating.
Yeah.
So my whole big thing, I don't know where it came from, but it's a general thing. Like, we agreed to go on a thing together, so our finances kind of have to make sense. So if we go on a date, we go for drinks. I pay for a round, he pays for a round, and then that kind of like goes on.
You know, you don't have to be anal about it. It doesn't have to be 50-50 all the time.
But it's kind of this like, I don't come in here and expect you to pay for my existence, if that makes any sense. Because like, I think at the end of the day, like, is an investment to see where this is gonna go. And I don't know, it's like a weird thing. Like, and now here.
Well, what about all the makeup that you spend money on and all that shit?
I don't use makeup. So.
Hey, fucking okay, here we go.
I also don't believe in kind of like presenting a version of you that is not you, because I've heard videos of girls like waking up early when they actually been with a guy for a while to do their makeup and shit. Like I don't get it.
I don't know.
But I don't understand. What are you hiding? What are you hiding? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand, like...
It's a confusing fucking market right now because it's like, you know, we don't do our makeup for the men, we're doing it for ourselves to make ourselves feel pretty. Okay, cool, so why the fuck do I have to pay for that? Why is that my problem?
I think...
I go to the gym for my health.
Okay, I think at the end of the day, and that is one of the things that might get me cancelled, I don't do makeup because I personally never learned to do makeup because I grew up with my dad. So I did not have a female...
So that's why I never learned how to do makeup either.
Exactly. So maybe it's one of the things that, like, it never became like a thing. Of course, I had this whole orange face, and then like you have to cover it with a big scarf when you were in high school because nobody taught you to put like makeup. So I did all of that thing. But then it came to a certain point when I was like, why am I spending time and money to make myself look ridiculous? And I never had the skills to make myself look better. I had makeup done by professionals when I was modeling, so then I was like, okay, maybe I should learn to do makeup because this is actually, but like, I don't have the energy. I would rather have a long lie-in or a longer shower than spend like half an hour making myself look like nothing what I look like.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you know, some people are into that. I'm not gonna fucking argue that. Fair enough. You do you.
Yeah, no.
But it's just a fucking weird thing right now. Like I screenshotted one profile the other day because it pissed me off. Right. But it was like somebody said, if I go on a date and they ask, I feel disrespected and embarrassed for them if they ask me to split 50-50. And I was like, my gal.
I think from a girl's perspective, I don't think I've ever been there. Like it's a weird thing. Like
disrespected though.
I know it's weird, but like I never like I generally find the financial conversation in dating quite awkward.
I mean, yeah, fair enough.
Like I because I find it awkward, I would say we're doing 50-50 and I don't take no for an answer.
Right, okay.
That's kind of what, because like I really don't like the awkward, like, so calculating the bill and kind of, like, that makes me uncomfortable.
I mean, as a dude, I can tell you, so my angle is, you know, like the bill comes and you wait to see if there's a reaction. And then, like, you know, the bill comes, you put your card out, and then you just like, you're not like waiting for it, but you kind of like, just let me see what happens here. And if they don't even fucking flinch, you're like, right, okay, I'm getting this one.
Is that a thing? See, I mean,
that's how I learned it, because, you know, some people are like, they're upfront, you know, they fucking, or they ask, or someone was quite cheeky once, and she was like, do you need backup?
What is backup supposed to be?
Backup, like reinforcements, whatever you want to call it. You know, and I was like, my gal. I mean, that was like a very well constructed sentence to make me feel like, actually, no. But she was hot and I wanted to smash, so I
think that's a mind game, because when you refer to backup, I mean, like, do you need help?
I mean, I don't know, but she was 38, I was 28.
She might have played you, because that is very much like, do you need, like, I mean, implied, like, do you have
I was aware of it. I was aware I was getting played, but I was like, well, mine's one in some, so let's see where this goes.
But that might be, but I don't know, like, I think that, I don't know, it gets awkward when it comes to, like, paying for things.
Yeah.
But, like, I generally empathize with guys that, like, kind of been put in this position. So I kind of like to make it light and fun. Kind of thing. So like before, again, when I was dating, not dating anymore, we used to do this thing where I'd be like, okay, if you want to pay, that's fine, but let's mix the cards, and whoever waiter pays for the thing. Or like, if you get this, then I'm gonna get that. Like, because I don't feel like it's all on the guy. Like, why is it? Like, both of you's got something to benefit possibly from this. Yeah. So why does it have to be the guy? I
mean, we're in complete agreement in this one. But, you know, at the end of the day, everyone does their own thing. I'm not like, I mean, I'm judging a little bit. And you're welcome to judge me back. Do you know what I mean? I'm done pretending that we don't judge. Everybody judges, and we get on with our lives. But like, you know, you do you, fair fucks. But to me, I'm like, bruh. And also, why is it the first date? Like, some people are like, why is it the first date when we have zero fucking investment in each other? That's when we have to fucking splash out.
Because maybe there's like a psychological underline to think how much this guy likes me to then forget about money. and how much he wants to impress me. Maybe there's an actual thing. I get not my thinking, because I kind of go into this thing where like I just want this to be as little awkward as it possibly can be. So I would kind of be the first one who would jump in, because I know the expectation on the guy is to like cover the bill and like, you know, show me the stars and stuff. But maybe that's a lot of the female thinking, like, how much does he want to impress me?
Yeah, but like, I can understand that aspect of it, but it's just fuck you. I think about it though, like now you put yourself in the position where you went on a date, and because like they chose a fancy place, and I have to sit fucking through it because they're paying. So if you go for a coffee date, you finish that fucking coffee. If they're a fucking weirdo, just leave.
That's what I do. Yes, okay.
If it's, middle of the day. Sometimes I get it, ask for Angela. But...
So we need to talk about it. Everybody needs to know of a checklist of going on a date.
Yeah.
So how you do
there's
the
a
date.
Checklist? Fucking nobody told me.
Okay, there's a checklist. That's how I do things, right? And I kid you, it actually works. And like a generic thing.
Just want to let you know that your head is getting out of the frame.
Right. So what you do, midday, you go for a coffee.
Yeah.
If they pass the coffee test, you go for a drink.
Right.
If they pass the drink test, you can go somewhere for some food.
Right.
And more drinks. If that works, you can go and meet some friends or some chill. But you always meet sober midday.
Fair.
Because if they're weird, you can just bug it off to say, actually, I need to go because it's midday. People got things to do midday.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
It's an actual...
Also, it's broad daylight.
Yeah.
From a safety perspective.
Sure, yeah.
That just reminded me of the weirdest date I've had.
Wow.
Where somebody asked me to meet, we were setting up a date. I'm not going to name places and stuff like that, but set up a date, and it was their workplace.
Right.
And I was like, okay, but
that is slightly entrapment.
Why though? But I was like, let's see what happens. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a date's a date. How bad can it be, right? But I was like, we can go like. I asked, like, any particular reason you picked your workplace? Mm-hmm. Like, we can go. Well, I don't know, you might be a weirdo. I was like, yeah, but like there's 5 other places right next to your workplace.
That is also a public place, so...
Yeah. So I turn up, and I walk in, and the man... This is a place I used to frequent a lot. Mm-hmm. Not gonna say it.
Okay.
But I turn up, and the manager's like, oh yeah, she's in the back. And I was like, whoa, the fuck is going on here? So we go meet up, we go sit down, start chatting away, and she's like, oh yeah, my dad works here. And I was like, huh? Yeah, he's right there. I was like, what the fuck is happening? What? And like, hi. And then I was, why though?
Was there also a minister to just get used?
Fucking
rigged up and...
I mean, didn't have a fucking British citizenship yet, so there was no point, like... you want a Romanian passport? Sure, fucking have mine.
Take it.
But then, like a week or two, nothing happened after that because I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, there was no chemistry, whatever. It fizzled out. But then I figured it out because I went back into the same place and this person was in the owner's lap. And I was like, right. I was a pawn in this game of get this owner jealous to be like, sure, I've got options or something. I feel like...
That is so twisted.
And you probably know everybody involved in the story.
Yeah. Fascinating. Really, really is fascinating.
But yeah, and I was like, okay. Yeah, and I was like, you know what?
In the owner's lap.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm not going to say more than that.
That's fine.
But, and then they've gone on to have a beautiful relationship since then, and they're living their best lives. But I was like, okay, fair enough. Man's got to appreciate the hustle, but it was the weirdest fucking date of my life. It was red flag after red flag after red flag.
It doesn't particularly sound like a date. It sounds like a... I don't know, how would you put a plot?
Yeah, no, it's some sort of scheme.
Like a chess game of some sorts.
Now you could say that maybe this was like I'm I just connected some dots that maybe they weren't there.
Right.
But you kind of, I don't know, you kind of go, what the fuck?
It's a bit sus.
Yeah, and it all just happened very fast.
Right. Very fast. Okay.
So I was like, okay.
Right. Do you still get discount to the place or?
No.
No benefits whatsoever.
No. I mean, I still go back every now and again, and I see the same people. And I'm like, hey, what's happening?
Right.
And I mind my own business because I frankly probably dodged some bullets there. But
right. I see.
But that was a weird one.
Right, that sounds like
It's a telenovela. If
Telemundo presenter. Right, I see.
So what was your weirdest one?
I don't know. Like generally, I did not date much ever because I'm one of these people who like go on a date and then it turns into a 4-year relationship.
One of these 4-year one night stands. I keep hearing about it.
No, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I get a vibe from people. Like, if you kind of talk with somebody, saying that now my boyfriends, we kind of met face to face, but that is very unheard of in my past. Like, one of my friends was talking about it. Was like, how do you actually meet people these days? Because before my boyfriend, I split up with my ex-boyfriend, who I met on Tinder. A guy before I met on Tinder. So I was like, it came to the point when somebody was chatting me up in like a real space, real time. I was like, oh, this feels creepy. And then I had this, but this
the
is...
The way our ancestors used to do it.
But this is like normal. And then it's kind of, I don't know. I think it's coming to a weird point where people are not used to talking to people in real time because it is kind of like labeled as weird or creepy.
I mean,
what do you think about
context.
No, but overall, like if you, again, this is whole feminist kind of females protecting females kind of thing. Because who was there? I was literally behind the girl in a queue in one of the bars, and a guy came up to chat with her, right? Just like waiting to order a drink, and then he kind of went chat to her, and I instinctively went like, are you okay? Like I didn't know, like pointed or anything. It was like, are you fine? Because I think somehow weirdly somewhere along the line we're involved, especially with females, like you protect females.
Yeah, fair enough.
Depending where you are, to be like, are you okay? Is this a safe environment? And then I kind of like, I did that. I was like, why is that weird though? Like it's normal. That's how people used to meet people for so many years.
Yeah.
But now, if somebody talks to you in a public place, you're like, what do you want? Like your general things, like, what do you want? What's your angle?
I mean, it depends on the person. I don't know how many people feel that way, but I feel like, yeah, there's definitely an element of society that does that.
There's kind of a weird thing. It's like, it is. And I was thinking about it for like I'm one of these people who, like, if I go for a drink and I'm in a bar and I go for a smoke, I'm gonna talk with about 50 people that are standing there, right? And there's no angle. It's just like human experience.
Hey, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of these things like you make a little joke and like it's innocent, but then again it comes to the point where like, is this weird? Like, am I doing something wrong? And then somebody gets pissed off, and then you said hi to a wrong person, and then somebody looks at you like, what are you doing? And I'm like, just having a human experience, saying hello to people like we used to.
And as you're walking, it's like, you stay away from that man.
And I'm like, nobody wants your man. Nobody really wants your man. I just wanted to squeeze by to an ashtray or just said hello. Like I don't, like, I was literally thinking about it today. Why is it so weird to talk with another human being in this time and day?
I mean, I don't know if it is. We might be going down the rabbit hole of like, we're the only ones that feel that way. The rest of the world doesn't get it, bro.
It kind of is. No, but the only thing is, like, unless you're like, I don't know, very, very drunk, 3 o'clock in the morning, then everybody's talking to everybody in Glasgow. Like, anywhere else, like, even going back to, because I just came back from Lithuania, from holiday, like, if you speak with people, like, what do you want? Like, it's not like...
Interesting.
No, it's a thing.
But then we all end up feeling fucking sad and lonely because we're all online and we're not getting the real thing we want, which is like a human connection and interaction.
Yeah, but exactly. It doesn't have to be malicious. It doesn't have to have a reason that you're talking with somebody. It's like sharing human experience.
Yeah.
Like, I might literally go for a smoke outside for 5 minutes and bitch how life is unfair while having a smoke with somebody, and that is fine. And then I'm gonna say enjoy and back it off. And it doesn't have to be like a weird thing. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm expressing it right, but that
No, I'm glad you're keeping hydrated because do you know what I mean? Power's kicking in.
it's very dry. It's very dry in here. It's the climate.
But we were gonna talk about mental health. That was the main thing.
Oh yeah.
And I was curious because I didn't know what you wanted to specifically say about mental health or what you wanted to discuss about mental health.
So, again, because I work with people who have conditions in mental health, that kind of one thing that I thought I could bring up is how important it is to protect your mental health. Because, like, it comes to the point where I never realized how important it was for me to concentrate on my mental well-being until I start working with people who have severe mental health disorders.
I was gonna say, when was your first mental health crisis then? Because I feel like that's when everybody goes, "Oh, this shit is real."
I think, again, I did hospitality for 12 years, and hospitality, again, is a beautiful industry of misfits, if you may.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the back of house. I mean, some of those, they're not even people. Do you know what I mean?
No, they are people, but again...
I joke. I love my back of house people, but like, some of them are war criminals.
No,
I've been threatened with a knife. As a joke, apparently.
As a joke. Is
Yeah,
that
and
what
I
they
was
said to
like,
the police?
You know what?
Is that what they said to the police?
No, but when I pulled them up about it, they were like, what are you talking about? I was joking. And then we had to like have a whole we had to get like orange juice as a peace fucking treaty. It was a weird thing. And then I ended up paying for it because he was like, oh, let's just get orange juice each and then we call it quits. And I was like, And then I got the orange juice and they never paid me back. And I was like, you're a cunt. You're a cunt.
Scammed, my love. You got scammed.
I was like, bro.
That
fuck
is a scam.
you and the
that
fucking
sounds
family
like
tree.
a scam.
Yeah.
No, but all I'm really saying is I saw how bad mental health can get if you don't look after. Like, again, in the place that I work, you're surrounded with depression. You're surrounded with negativity and, again, different mental health disorders.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time when you... Yeah, it's a weird one when you say negativity is because, I mean, I've got mental health... I've had mental health issues myself. I've got mental health sort of history in the family. And it's hard to separate sometimes the illness from the person's worldview because they blend into each other. And there are cases when you go, right... your worldview is feeding your illness, but then obviously you have to be aware that their illness is warping their worldview as well. So it's a fucking like being around it. Obviously, I'm not caring for people, but I've got family members that are going through it, and it can be fucking frustrating sometimes, man. It really can, and you try to really be empathetic, but at some point you also go, I'm exhausted because. No matter how I try to maybe show a different side of it, like I'm not saying life doesn't suck from time to time. It can be really painful. But if I even just highlight or just say, maybe consider this, and like, no. You go, fuck, right, how do I even get you out of this, man? Like, what do I do? I just can't. But I'm sorry, I talked over the professional there, so
no.
You take it away.
No, that is... Actually, the point that you mentioned is like, I've heard so many people say, not from our work, but in general, so many people say like, when I got diagnosis, everything clicked. Because when you say like, it's hard to separate the disease or an illness from a person because they're so intertwined.
Well, it's a mental thing, then yeah.
But again, like, I think at the end of the day, when you think of the person, think of the personality, characteristics, things like that. But when disease takes over, it's very hard to separate the two.
Yeah, I mean, I know myself, like, so when I had a fucking episode, I don't know, not an episode, but I had like I had a really rough period back in like 17, 18 was the rough one, where I was working 2 days a week and just doing therapy and trying to fix myself for like 6 to 8 months. That's all I did. But I remember like a lot of the people that were around me, I was doing an acting course, whatever, like they were trying to be understanding, but they just didn't know what the fuck. I mean, they just met this guy who's like clearly going through some fucked up shit. And, you know, I believe in being honest about my condition. I don't put a brave face on it. I don't go, I'm fine. I go, you know, it sucks, but I'm still here. You know? Like, I'm still in this. I'm still fighting this. But some people don't like hearing that because it kind of makes them go, oh, they feel powerless about it. Or you're trying to live your life, and it can be a bit of a bummer on your mood when this other guy is just fucking being, next to you. And that's how it feels, but... yeah,
I personally think that it's BS.
It can be isolating.
But I think it's BS. Like, I generally embrace people who are real. I'd rather you be honest with me to say, like, I'm not doing well. And then I can sit there and be like, what's happening? Let me understand. Let me be there for you. Instead of being like, oh, your thing makes me uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? I understand if it's like a pass in the street, that somebody that's not invested, but people you surround yourself with, like, that actually pisses me off to be like, oh, could you like maybe fix your face or like your mental health, because it makes me uncomfortable. That really pisses me off. And that is, unfortunately, is the sad reality that we live in. And that's why people don't feel like they can say like, yeah, I'm not well. Like, I'm really messed up.
I mean, the thing is, you have to remember, most of the people, they're not doing this on purpose necessarily. They just... I can only imagine, it's fucking hard, like being on the other side of this, trying to help someone and trying to be there for someone that's going through it, and you just feel fucking powerless and you don't know what to do, and it can.
But you don't need to do anything. Just be there to listen, to understand, to be like, yeah, I'm here. And go through whatever you need to go through, but just know you have support.
Yeah. I mean, I remember like this kind of stuck with me in my mind, because I remember being in class, and you know, I'm just fucking trying to get through the day, and I'm breathing, and obviously I would be breathing like quite heavy, because you know, I'm having a fucking panic attack or whatever. So it's not like I'm not even shaking around and stuff, but I'm just like, you know. And I remember this friend of mine, whoever, we were in the same classmate was like, oh my god, Silas, your breathing is giving me anxiety. I was like, motherfucker, like, connect the dots. Like, I was like, bitch, think about it. Like, where someone's like, oh my god, you look so depressed. I was like, why do you think that is? Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is in your head? But again, it's coming from a place of like, it's frustrating to go through that, but I'm not blaming them for it. Do you get me?
I get you, but at the same time, you're already going through something, and then for you to feel worse because somebody else pointed out that this makes me uncomfortable, that puts the extra weight on you when you're already going through a lot. So I don't think it's fair. And I think the more we talk about mental health and saying like, it's fine to admit that you're not okay and you need a bit of support, to be like, I'm going through something, lay off me right now, or like hold my hand, like I need a minute, rather than to like,
or a year
or 10, whatever you need. I think it's better to then, the less you talk about this thing, the more people get freaked out, the more kind of understandable is like everybody goes through waves in life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not a single normal stable person. Have you met anybody normal stable, like anybody who's like this? No, it's not a human experience. No. Human experience is this, and it's normal, because if you're not living through this, that means you're not living it at all. Like my whole big thing, it's normal to say I'm not fine. Again, there's now a different side where people glorify being depressed. When people glorify, oh, my life is such a... like, don't...
Yeah, there's a personal responsibility, like, in this as well, where you kind of have to go, like, I'm fucked up, I'm going through something, but I need to be working on it. Whether that means, you know, expressing it, and you know, finding the people that I can talk to about it, and just, you know, talking it out, understanding where these thoughts are coming from, whether I can change it. I'm a big believer in like CBT and that kind of stuff. But like, you got to be doing something about it, and that whatever that is, you know, because not everybody, you know, we all have different tools, and we don't start in the same place in life, right? But like, yeah, it's a like there's a fine balance between accept me, give me the space, but also like I can't be letting myself off the hook entirely either. Like sometimes you like, fuck it, today I have a shitty day, I'm completely emotionally overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, I'm just gonna fucking chill and feel my feelings and have a cry and write it out and talk about it, go for a walk, self-care, fair enough. But sometimes you have to fucking actually, you know.
100%. But I think there's a weird thing about when you have a really shitty day, and if you are in environments when you know you can't depend on people, when you hold your composure, because I've done it so much, like I was losing it, like I was like losing it, but I held my composure. I finished through my day and I reached my safe haven, my home, where I could be myself, and then I unloaded. I was like, I actually have so much self-respect for not losing my shit throughout the day. Because then I think if, again, there's so many nuances when it comes to safe space and talking with people. I think at the end of the day, you need to keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
And know if that person that you want to talk about your mental health actually gonna care or want to help you, or they're gonna sit there, I'm glad everybody else around me is also messed up. Do you know what I mean? Because there are people like that I'm mad. They're so glad that they're not the only ones who are unhappy, that I'm telling somebody like, I'm sad and I messed up, and I see happiness in their eyes, and I'm like, why am I giving my vulnerability to those people who celebrate me being really messed up? Do you know what I mean?
That's an interesting one. What I've noticed is that sometimes if you don't have healthy ways of expressing pain and anger, you kind of want to find, it's like you almost want to live it through others. So if I see you going through some fucked up shit, that allows me to live that emotion.
Oh, right.
So instead of me fucking going and be like, fuck this is bullshit, you know. Like, rage rooms are a thing where you just fucking rent it out and break shit. I'm a believer in, like, you need a healthy, safe place to fucking let all that destruction and anger out, right? But if you don't do that, it needs to come out. So you end up gravitating around fucking watching whatever, like...
True crime, fuck. If it makes you happy, watch true crime, people getting murdered, and do you know what I mean?
No, but sometimes it's just like, oh, what was some fucking juicy gossip? Oh, what is that? What did? Oh my god, yeah, no.
Yeah, but no, like I don't know if I would find myself enjoying somebody else experiencing pain, I'd be like, this is not right.
Yeah,
and I've seen that in other people's eyes when I go through things. And I tell them, because like...
there's a reason they say misery loves company.
I know, but like I'm kind of like an emotional projectile vomiter. So like I'm very open, I'm very vulnerable, or I used to be, now I kind of learn better. But when you unload on people to be like, I'm not doing well, instead of their generic, yeah, I'm amazing, how you, like, I don't do the fake kind of thing. I'd be like, no, life has kind of been like intense, and I'm kind of like all over the place, and I see happiness in somebody else's eyes.
Good.
I kid you, like that for me is like done.
Yeah, because I can't trust you.
Like it's one of these, but it's not just that. Like over the time, I learned that there's people who enjoy my misery.
Yeah, but they might not be enjoying it because they want to see you suffer. They might just be enjoying it because they don't have a fucking outlet.
I know, but then still, for me, that's not an excuse. I never allow myself.
But they might not even be realizing they're doing that.
I don't care.
No, that's fair. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying
but it's a general thing. That is a general thing. Like I would never. I don't care what position I am in. When another person is telling me they're doing bad. Sorry, there's no way I would feel happiness about it. That for me is just no. No. Go and have some. I don't know. Exorcism or some. Because enjoying other people's pain, like
but you might.
I understand that people deal with their emotions differently, but like when you see a genuine happiness, like Christmas Day, in people's eyes, when you're telling them, yeah, no, life's been really hard.
I mean, again, there's many different fucking emotional reasons for it.
I understand, but like, I think at the end of the day, keep yourself safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, talking about the whole energetic thing, I know you don't believe in it, but I got weird and spiritual.
Tell me about the crystals.
No, I don't have any crystals. That's one thing I don't have.
I know. I mean, some people believe in it, and it works to some extent. I don't know. Like, I do not believe, but go on.
My whole big thing is now proving that quantum physics is a thing. Another thing working with depression. There's an actual study, I'm not going to quote it, go and, I don't know, Google it. There's an actual thing saying when you enter the room where the energy or the general vibe is very low, it enters into your quantum field. So mingles with your vibes. And you know the whole saying of like vibes. I'm not even joking, like I'm very...
Bad vibes?
No, I'm very empathetic person. So I can walk into the place and I'm like, this feels off. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, When I walk into work and I know that I'm working with people who are clinically depressed, I prepare myself for what I'm walking into. I know that I'm being paid for it. I'm kind of mentally prepared for that. But when I walk into the social, any kind of, I'm like, no. It's not about crystals. It's just generally feeling.
Yeah, that's just called empathy.
It is empathy, but it's also picking up on vibrations. So I think there's people who are kind of more sensitive to it.
I mean, I might have a slight allergic reaction to the word itself, vibrations, because it's been used in like, it's about the vibes, bro. But like, we talk about emotional.
Look at quantum
emotional energy.
physics. It's a thing.
Babes?
It's actually look
listen,
it up. It's real science. It's real science now.
Quantum physics is real science. It might not actually exactly do what we want it to do, or whatever we fucking project onto it. But there's a kernel of truth in what you're saying, in my opinion. Okay, I'm not fully disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to leave the quantum physics to the quantum physicists.
But I don't know. From what I've seen, it's a thing.